Yo, what's good? What's good? Pookie, what's good? Ugly had it all, man. It don't matter if I come on at 4 p.m. or 12. I'm getting cooked. Honestly, I put on the black shirt and I was like, he about to call me. This motherfucker about to call me basic. I was like, I'm about to get called basic again, man. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing out there, man? Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. We're trying out a new time. See how this goes. But welcome back, man. Welcome back. Welcome to another episode of the Jayson Estrera podcast, where we talk about basketball as accurate as possible. But we're not going to start there. I'm glad you're here, Derpy. I'm glad you're here because we went to go watch Superman on Saturday. And it was great. Like the night leading up to it was perfect. We went to go grab some food, right? And then we got I wanted nachos that night. She wanted some popcorn, right? We got our slushy. So then we're going in. So I'm feeling great. Going into the movie theater. We're there at a great time. Typically, we usually walk in when Nicole Kidman is already doing her little spiel. And if you go to the movies enough, you know what I'm talking about. But, when Nicole Kidman pops up is typically when her and I sit down. So we're kind of rushing, but not really. We just got the timing down, right? Because we're like 10 minutes away from our theater. But this time around, we were early. We got to use the bathroom without rushing. We got to do everything we needed to do. So I was feeling great, right? Again, haven't really watched anything on this movie. And so we sit down and it starts how it starts, right? It gives you the backstory. I forget what do they call it when it's starting in the middle of a story. What is it? What is that called? In medias res. Okay, I feel like I remember that from fucking English class. But anyway, so it starts in the middle of it, and right off rip, I thought that was a great start, right? Because I think the issue that DC has made recently is a lot of origin stories. Everyone needs an origin story, right? No one can just pop out of nowhere. So everyone had an origin story, and I was really glad that this wasn't that, right? Because I think that the thing about superhero stories nowadays, right? It's 2025, right? Whether you're a comic book person that's read all the comic books or not, for the most part, we get the gist. And I think a lot of comic book fans have kind of matured, I guess, for lack of a term, where I think more fans are more accepting of the new stories and they treat the movies like all these different spin-offs in the comic books. I think, right? I could be totally wrong. At least I'm not a big comic book fan that reads all these comic books. I'm just I'm a fan of these heroes and their stories. Big Batman guy. But I enjoy the fact that they are writing these new stories. So I was already locked in from the jump of this Superman movie. Derpy, when I tell you I completely lost track of time. I didn't know what was going on. Listen, the movie was unbelievable. Like, genuinely unbelievable. We saw it on IMAX, which is what it was meant to be seen on. I think we'll watch it in Dolby just so we're more comfortable next time. But we're going to watch it again. I think that was I really don't even think it's close. But that was the best superhero movie since Avengers Endgame. That was, to me, easily the best superhero movie since Avengers Endgame. You can throw in, I think you could throw in Spider-Man in that. I think you could throw in, the Batman movie with what's his name, with Twilight. I think you could throw any of these superhero movies. I think this tops that. Um, yeah, that shit was unbelievable. I really didn't know what to expect. Wow, that was great. You were right on point, Derpy. It was a comic book. It was a comic book. It was an animated series that they turned into a movie. It was great. I will say, very smart the way that they took pieces from Marvel. The what's his name, Mr. Terrific. His scene his scene at the army base was very what's the dude in Whistle Dude? Um, what's his name? Yandu, yeah, Yandu with his arrow, yeah, he was very, it was very reminiscent of that. It was great. It was great. I thought the movie, they did their best to not spend too much time. It was great. It was just great. I don't even know what else to say without getting too into it, but it was great. We're gonna watch it again. Honestly, I have high hopes for Fantastic Four also. Not for nothing. I have high hopes for Fantastic Four. We try not to watch these trailers because then I get excited and I get really let down. I think that's a part of the issue too. I think a lot of people, and granted, you do what you want, but a lot of people do these really deep dives on YouTube, and then when you get to the movie, it's so hard to live up to this expectation that you've built by watching all of this content on it. It, it instead of just enjoying it for what it is, and that's what I did for this film, and that was great. But let's move right along. Let's move right along. Enough of the movie buff. Enough of the movie shit. Enough of the movie stuff. But yeah, let's get into some basketball, man. Let's get into some basketball. So the other day we were talking about Cooper Flagg's debut, right? Cooper Flagg's debut. And a lot of, you know, I think he, at least for me, answered some questions. I think for a lot of people, it left a lot of people wanting more, right? Black Canadian was very critical of his jumper. I don't think it'll be that much of an issue, at least immediately. Um, his ball handling. So we're getting into that part of Cooper Flagg's game right now, right? So let's not even talk about his game yet, right? Let's rip this band-aid off, because they are, oh, the fuck. Oh, we're back. Are we back? I think we're back. Oh shit, we are back. All right. Um I want to call things for what they are, right? And let's call it what it is for Cooper Flagg. He's the number 1 draft pick, right? He was the player of the year in college. He had the Olympic scrimmage last summer that was viral and going everywhere, right? the Rookie of the Year trophy is pretty much his. It's pretty much his. And everyone is going to be chasing Cooper Flagg. Right? Everyone is going to be chasing Cooper Flagg. So every other rookie, you're fighting an uphill battle. Because if you have 28 and he has 22, guess who's going to be all over the internet? Who's going to be all over ESPN, Bleacher? Guess. Take a wild guess as to who is going to be on there. And that's not to say that Cooper Flagg is not deserving, because from the looks of it, his play is going to live up to it. Right? From looking at him very quickly, it looks like he's going to be good. Hey, Jason, want to stop in and say what's up? Getting ready for my flight at 2. Catch you. What's good, Elijah? Safe flight, bro. Safe flight. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate that, dog. I appreciate that. Leave a like on this motherfucker, too. I gotta start doing a better job of that. He shouldn't have been shut down, but that's what we're gonna talk about right now. Everyone is chasing him, right? Everyone is chasing him, and it's going to be it's gonna be super fun. Every rookie this year, you thought Bronny, right? Bronny had obviously the hype and the attention, right? Imagine he was also playing and having 15, 18-point games. Like, you would have been even more mad because they would have been covering his 15 versus your 30. That's just how it works. And for Cooper Flagg, I'm sure he's going to have some big games, but there are going to be some nights where some of these rookies really shine. And if Cooper Flagg has even a half decent game, he's going to be all over the internet. So let's just call that right now, right? I already know we're gonna be like broken records all season long. Oh my God, they got to give so and so a little bit more shine. They got to give so and so some more light. They didn't even cover their games. They didn't even do this. It's gonna be one of those. Right? It's going to be one of those where they get a little 2-minute segment. You get a little 2-minute segment. You're Utah. You get a little 2-minute segment. And Cooper Flagg gets a whole conversation, right? He gets a whole 15-minute part. Because they're breaking down every move that he made and every play that he made. So that's just the reality of what the year is going to be. I'm glad you brought up. So, all they said with regards to the shutdown, right, to shutting down Cooper Flagg is, they want to manage his workload and ensure his long-term health for the upcoming season. Now, I wonder if this was a conversation that they had before, right? I wonder if he knew this going in, right? And that's why he was just gunning. Right? I really, really do wonder that. I get that he plays with a lot of force, right? He attacks the basket. He throws himself at the rim. On defense, he's going to try to get the blocks. So I understand that, yes, he could potentially, you know, it could potentially lead to injury, but at the same time, these guys got to play. Like, these guys got to play. And there's nothing else to that, right? Like, these guys got to play. He's like 18 years old. Like, we're shutting down 18-year-olds now. These are the guys that's supposed to be able to play 48 minutes. We're shutting down 18-year-olds. Like, come on, man. That's just. And he showed some real promise. He showed some real promise. I like I said, I wonder if that was a decision that they had already made prior to, or if it's something that they just kind of decided on the fly, because you know the way that he plays, right? You know the way that he plays, and I don't know what about these games. Did he tweak something that they're not disclosing? I don't know. I don't know what it could be, but on the other side, right? On the other side of him, we had Dylan Harper, who's the number 2 pick, correct? Right? The number 2 pick. Dylan Harper, who had himself a solid game as well, too. 16, 6, 2 steals, a block. Very athletic as well, too, on one of the layups. He did the full stretch, finger rolled it. But in watching, Cooper Flagg looks like the real deal. I think Cooper Flagg definitely needs to work on his handle. I think his handle needs work. He doesn't need to be Kyrie Irving, but he definitely needs to work on his handle. Against these guys, physicality doesn't look like it's an issue, but when he's going up against Giannis and those guys, game's a little bit different, right? The game's a little bit different. The guys are stronger, faster, and far more experienced, right? So that's something Cooper Flagg is definitely going to need to work on. I think ball handling, number 1, strength and time, and I think the shooting is going to come. I know Black Canadian was very tough on his shooting, right? And I could see why. However, Cooper Flagg is not a knockdown 3-point shooter, right? He's not a shooter. That's not his game. He's not Duncan Robinson out there, right? Like don't let the skin tone fool you. He is not Duncan Robinson, right? He's a scorer that likes to get to the basket and has a midi game, but can also shoot the 3 a little bit. He's more of a streaky shooter. And I get that this is a new NBA, right? I totally understand that this is a new NBA that we're in. However, every elite player that we have in the league still operates in the mid-range. Name all of them, right? Luka operates in the mid-range. Jokic operates in the mid-range. Giannis operates in the mid-range. You could go down the list, right? Everyone operates at the mid-range. Someone like an Anthony Edwards, who, not in this season, but the season before, I think he was in the mid-range a little bit more. This past year, he was a little bit more of just threes and layups. But when you go down the list, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, mid-range. All of these elite guys operate in the mid-range, and Cooper Flagg is going to play under Jason Kidd. And I get that Jason Kidd is adjusting to this new NBA and has been adjusting to this new NBA, but he also understands basketball, right? He let Luka take his shots and shoot his shots. He lets Kyrie do his thing. He's going to continue to let Anthony Davis take those shots. And I don't think Cooper Flagg is going to be any different. Right? And he's going to open up shots for everybody. So I think he's in a really, really great situation. I wanted to see some of these. Where's that layup? This layup by Dylan Harper is nasty. Let's take a look at this. Let's watch some of these clips.
The building that Jamarian Sharp is looking up at, right? That's 7'5", looking up at Wemby.
Great point. Nice cut by Harper. Oh, little jelly at the rim. Stunned Wemby.
I mean, that's
great point.
That's just
nice.
A great. Wow. Look at that. That's
Harper. Oh, little jelly at the rim. Stunned like his daddy.
Starts on the left side of the basket, but hangs in the air long enough to get that thing to the other side.
Cooper Flagg walks into the three, and he laces it. Sideline out of bounds. Here's Flagg, guarded by Carter Bryant. Big man in the drop. Flagg raises up. Man, good-looking jumper.
I will say, I like his balance on his jumper. He has pretty good balance on that jump shot. I like the balance that he has on that jumper. So
from mid-range, Nembhard pulls it out. Flagg with the left this time. Great.
Definitely a little uncomfortable with his left, but I like the fact that he is going to
control with
right
the left
there.
hand.
Really impressive.
And he's coming for a spot. That is a determined young man. Good hands defensively by Dallas for the steal. Nembhard on the break. Got it blocked by Dylan Harper, who put him in the friend zone. Wow.
Jones Garcia, the great hands leads to this break. Nembhard's thinking,
my
this
God.
is the fellow point guard back here. I think I could probably get one up over him. Dylan Harper having none of it.
Wow. Flagg switches on to Harper. Harper draws the foul and the bucket.
That is, those last two plays are elite athleticism. This stop
switch on
play right here. I mean, obviously that play is athleticism. This play right here on Cooper Flagg is also elite athleticism to me. We should let's hit the slow-mo on this. Let's do 0.5. Right? And you know you're allowed to take 3 steps in the league now, right? So Z gather step 1. He could have taken another step, as he should. Cooper Flagg is expecting the same thing. To stop on his left foot on a dime like this.
Which is on to Harper. Harper draws the foul.
That is impressive right there, man. That is impressive right there, I must say. So that's why I wanted to bring up that conversation earlier of it's going to be an uphill battle to win this Rookie of the Year. Right? It is very possible that we have a LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony situation where LeBron James won Rookie of the Year in their rookie season, but a lot of people myself included, feel like LeBron James has Carmelo Anthony's Rookie of the Year award at his home. So we could end up in that situation where Cooper Flagg could potentially at the end of the season have someone else's trophy at home. Not to say that he doesn't have a good year, because I think he will, right? But the hype, the media attention, you're gonna have to counter that plus his play, right? Anytime Cooper Flagg's name pops up on the highlight, it's not just the numbers and the stats. You're going to have to deal with the dunks and the highlights and the media attention he's going to get. So if you're one of these other rookies, you're going to have an otherworldly season to win Rookie of the Year, in my opinion. In my opinion. Coop played way more confident in game 2. Dillon will have less opportunities to win Rookie of the Year because of De'Aaron Fox and Castle. No, that's facts. These guys are gonna have to try. I think if you want to beat Cooper Flagg this year, you almost gotta sneak defensive, like an all defensive team or something like that, and also get like 15 points a game. I think that's the way you would have to beat Cooper Flagg, because then the basketball analysts are going to try to be these smart asses by the end of the year and try to, we got to get the defensive player. I think that's going to be the narrative. Black Canadian, what do you think of his jumper? I thought his jumper looked pretty good, man. I really like the balance he gets on his pull-ups. He showed a pull-up, was it in the other game? But he had a pull-up going to the right on the 3, which I thought was very impressive. To hoopers out there, to shoot one dribble to the right is not an easy shot, right? It's just, when you're a right-handed player, it's just not an easy shot. It's more comfortable to go left, right? The footwork and the foot placement just feels more natural going left. So I like the fact that he was able to do that going right. But like we said, I think his jumper is more streaky. At least his 3-point shot is more streaky than he is an actual shooter. There are times where he does rotate for no reason when he sees defenders, but let's see this other move here by Dylan Harper.
By Dylan Harper. Harper on the fly, steps through and got the leg. Bounded by Dylan.
You could see him. You can see him making this on an NBA
Harper on the
level.
fly, steps through and.
What do you think about? Could Dylan Harper be in the best spot, or is it going to be really hard for him because he's with all the other guards, right? I've said from before, he just has to be confident shooting his threes. His mid-range game is fine to me. Never had an issue with it. It just doesn't work if he isn't confidently shooting at all times from all distances. Yeah, I mean, to your point, he has to stay confident. I think he's a streaky shooter more than a pure 3-point shooter. So he just has to stay with it and stay confident and play smart. Right, and I think that's something that he'll do. I like how Dylan Harper plays, man. I'm really, De'Aaron Fox and Castle is there. You'd think, right? If it wasn't for those two, you'd think if you were Dylan Harper, you're like, man, I'd be walking into this great spot to be with Wemby in the future. But instead, you got to battle it out just to get on the floor with these two guys. And De'Aaron Fox is an all-star level player, right? And also an elite. His speed is elite, right? Talk about an athlete. So Dylan Harper has his work cut out for him. He has his work cut out for him for sure. But this could be. I mean, could they go small having Wemby back there? I guess it's possible. I guess it's possible that they can go with a small, two small guards in their lineup because they have Wemby. On defense, what's the other kid's name? Shit. I'm blanking on him too, man. He looked pretty solid on defense too. Is it number 11? Is it number 11? What's his name? Oh no. The Spurs. No, bro, I need the fucking roster. Is this Carter Bryant, number 11? Yeah, he looked pretty good, pretty solid on defense too. Him, Wemby. Yeah, I mean, if you're the San Antonio Spurs, right? If you're the Spurs right now, Wemby's coming back from injury. You have De'Aaron Fox. You have Castle. You have these pieces, right? It's all about developing. Right? It's all about developing. If I am the Spurs this season, our goal, right, is we got to try to get De'Aaron Fox back to a all-star level, right? Wemby, stay at an all-star level / level up, right? We need to try to get you defensive player of the year. If that's the season that we are having, if those two things are true, I think everything else will fall in line, right? All of these guys have to level up individually, and as they figure out how to play together. Whoa, what the fuck? Jimmy, whoa. My guy said raw or condom. I enjoy raw, no protect. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What the fuck? Never pull out. You got no pull out game. That's crazy. Yeah. This is not the Anthony Edwards podcast. This is it's the wrong show. This is not Anthony Edwards' show. That's crazy. You are diabolical, bro. You are diabolical. But I do like I do definitely like this Spurs team moving forward. Let's see how good they are on defense. Let's see how good they are on defense with Wemby, man. Let's see how good they are. When is he supposed to come back? Bro. Hey, you gotta chill out, bro. Tulip plays. Clark was meant to be the female Steph Curry, but playing like the female Steve Nash. LOL. Well, hey, yo, bro, this motherfucker. Like, what the fuck? Like, what is good with this guy, bro? Like, what the fuck? All right, Clark was meant to be the female Steph Curry, but playing like the female Steve Nash. LOL. It's funny you say that, but because I don't know. Like, listen, I don't know who the fuck that dude is, bro. I've never seen that dude on here. He just pulled up out of nowhere. That's why, bro. We don't talk about none of that shit. We over here talking about basketball, and he just started going fucking crazy. I don't know what's going with him. If you scroll up, we don't do none of that. If you can go back through my lives, I swear to God. I swear. You can chat, you can run the tapes. But that's a good conversation. That's a good conversation. I will say, Tulip plays. The key part in he taking my entire gimmick. You don't be wilding like that, Black Canadian. Let's be honest. He was going crazy. I needed to put a stop to that shit. He was going crazy. See, like why, you always gotta go there. The key part in playing like Steph Curry is the team, right? I think that there are some people that think that Steph could do that on his own, and that's not the case. Right? If Steph could run around all he wants, if the guys don't know where to expect him, if the guys don't know where they're supposed to be, then it becomes a problem. If you remember during the Olympics, if you watched the Olympic special on Netflix, Kevin Durant was talking about how they were having a difficult time incorporating Steph Curry into the Olympics, essentially. And you're thinking about some of the greatest basketball players ever. The greatest in the world, right? Some of the greatest in the world, but some of the greatest basketball players ever were having a tough time adjusting to Steph Curry. And Kevin Durant said it felt like he was the only one that understood what was going on. So, Steph gets a lot of credit because he's the guy that makes the shots. He has the moments. But all of those guys around him need a lot more credit for being able to play with him and being able to do that. That takes a lot to create that I don't think the Indiana Fever have. And it's just that play style is very difficult to make. She doesn't have the gas tank to run like Steph does all game. Plus, she's shooting 28% from three while Steph shoots above 40. There's levels to this. But this is by design. Steph Curry compared to Caitlin Clark, Steph knows where he's going to get his shots from. He knows for the most part when he's going to get his shots from. And when he does, a lot of his shots aren't dribble into a step back, side step three. Pretty much all of Caitlin Clark's shots are step back threes. Right? A large majority of them are off the dribble. She has to try to create a shot on her own. Yes, there are levels to this, but Steph, by design, takes shots that are good for him. Maybe it's not great for other people, but for him, they're great shots. And he obviously makes tough ones. I'm not trying to say Steph Curry doesn't get tough shots. He definitely makes tough shots. But I guess my point is the Fever could do a better job of getting easier shots for Caitlin Clark. Sabrina plays more like Steph and almost had him in the three-point contest. I definitely think Sabrina does play a little bit more like Steph because I've said this before. Steph's play style comes from Reggie Miller. And Reggie Miller's play style, right? Reggie Miller, he was he was like he was a superstar that was like a role player. Because if you look through like the 2000s, right? The Kyle Korvers, the Peja Stojakovic, those guys, right? Jason Capono, the guys that run off of screens, those guys are based off of Reggie Miller. But they weren't all-stars, right? They were role players, right? Reggie was like the only one that was an all-star, all-NBA type of guy. Steph took that and like put it on steroids, right? So Sabrina is an all-star. Also, he's kind of like Reggie. You know, she plays more off the ball, coming off of picks, right? I think she has a better idea of where her shots are coming from throughout the game. So her shot, her style definitely, I think, is a little bit closer to Steph. Like, she could improve from handling the ball better, I think. But, you know, it is what it is. Could she be ball hogging with her 32% usage? She has 2 top 10 teammates. Team is 500 without her. Her lack of handles and burst means she has to settle for tough shots. I mean, no, for Caitlin Clark is having a terrible year. Like, she is having a terrible year, right? And if you really think about it, right? It was expected. She had such a breakout year last season, but now all of these teams, they have film of her on top of, now they know what it's like to play against her. Now they know what, okay, her speed, her strength, now they know, right? So everyone's adjusted. That's why it's always hard for the second year on a lot of guys, right? That's why they have something called the sophomore slump. It doesn't come from nowhere, right? It comes from, yeah, you kind of got everyone by surprise in your first year. Second year, everyone's able to prepare and adjust to you now. And then on top of that, she's had a lot of injuries. So she's had, she's having a really tough time. So it's really, now this is, and now she's just trying to, like, she's trying to hero ball it, right? She's that's her issue right now, right? She tries to hero ball a lot. She thinks she can do everything on her. She thinks she can grab the ball, pass it off of her teammate, get it back, shoot it. She thinks she can do everything on her own, right? I think that's where her issue is right now. Only one player from the 2024 draft class has actually improved this year. The sophomore slump is real. Who is that player to you? Because I think Angel Reese has actually improved. I think Angel Reese has actually improved quite a bit. She's outside of points and rebounds, which is the things that she, rebounds, she obviously dominated last year. All of her field goal stats, her assists, everything else is up, which is great. I don't really worry too much about the rebounding. I think that's something she naturally does. As she develops, she'll find a happy medium of getting rebounds and also, adding all the other parts in her game that she's worked on. But she is quietly, because, the way the media is working right now, right? She's very quietly improved a lot, and she's not getting enough credit for that. The 2K cover was well deserved. And honestly, she's running point forward now, which is which she was in high school days. Oh wow, that's good to know. I didn't even know that. I think this is beautiful. What's happening with the WNBA right now, I think it's actually really great, and hear me out. This is why. Caitlin Clark has been really, really struggling, right? Really, really struggling this year. And I don't think it really matters, at least for her and the fan base that she has, her fan base will support her no matter what, which is great. So her fans are there and they're staying, right? Angel Reese is having a great season. She's having a great season. And by having a great season this year, and at least as of right now, there hasn't been a whole lot of negative media stuff. I think some of those Angel Reese haters, some of them are going to swing to be more Angel Reese fans by the end of the year, right? And by the end of the year, basketball fans will know Angel Reese would have had a better year than Caitlin Clark, right? Caitlin Clark had a better year their rookie year. Angel Reese has a better year in their second year. And I think that's great because now it fuels Caitlin Clark to get better going into year 3. That narrative, that story is going to continue. And unfortunately, they're the two names, they're the two figures that everyone puts against each other, and it's unfortunate that it happens that way, but I think it sells the sport. And this story, unfortunately, it's just writing itself. It's such an easy alley-oop. It's such an easy alley-oop. But I think that's what's about to happen, and I think it's really exciting. She was a guard in high school. They forced her to play post due to her rebounding and height. Rakia gives me Carmelo vibes with a female KD ceiling. She just has to lock in and be consistent. She's the most effortless 4-level scorer in that draft class. I mean, yeah, and then it comes with opportunity and confidence, right? Black Canadian earlier was talking about confidence with Coop. I think that's the one thing about Caitlin Clark and also Angel Reese that you it's hard to compete against that. There aren't many players that are more confident than those two, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. I mean, for Angel Reese to continue the way that she has with all the hate that she's gotten, pure confidence. Caitlin Clark to play the way that she does, you gotta be confident as fuck. So, both of those things, it's hard to top. Now, I did want to go back to one of your questions earlier, Tulip Plays, when you said, do you think Coop can be as good as Pippen? Now, we got to gauge that, right? We got to gauge that because I know that Cooper Flagg they talk about his defense a lot, right? They've really talked a lot about his defense. And I think today his offense isn't that polished yet. It's good. It's not that polished yet. He's gonna his athleticism and his motor is gonna get him through in a lot of these situations, I think, right? To be Scottie Pippen, you gotta be an all-time defender. And I'm not saying that Cooper Flagg can't be an all-time defender. But I think kind of like Anthony Davis, who came in as this extremely high-level defender and then started swinging to more offense and doing a little bit more of that. I think Cooper Flagg probably goes in that same direction. So his defense has to be good enough to compare to Scottie Pippen without being an all-time great, but I think his offense will have to be way better to like balance it out. Sorry, the dogs are going kind of crazy right now. Wait, you have a booty call later? That's why you're here super early, bro. This guy. This guy. Nah, we're trying to earlier showtime. I'm trying to earlier showtime. I'm gonna see how this works this week. And maybe next week too. Let's see how these 12 Eastern, 11 a.m. Central showtimes work for the week. But we're just trying something new. I think they've overhyped him a little. Generational gets thrown around too easily. I make WNBA edits, by the way. Tulip plays on YouTube. I got you. I got you. I got you. Cooper Flagg gonna be a Kevin Love or a Hayward. You know, that's the thing, right? Everyone keeps talking about Cooper Flagg's athleticism. Like Jay Billis was talking about Cooper Flagg as an athlete. And no disrespect to Cooper Flagg, but he's not no super athlete. Like, he not moving the way Dylan Harper was moving or VJ Edgecombe the other day. Like, he's not as athletic as these guys. No. And that's no disrespect to Cooper Flagg. I think what Cooper Flagg has, he plays very violent. He plays with a lot of force. Like, when he attacks the rim, it looks like he's trying to rip the rim. Right? You know, it's not necessarily athleticism. He just plays with a lot of force, which I think, you know, some athletes don't play like that, right? Some guys, even if they're super athletic, are a little bit more finesse around the rim. But, you know, they throw some words out here that really gets overblown. I will expand to NBA and other sports too soon. Fire. I gave you a sub. I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna check your channel out. I'm gonna check it out for sure. They're talking like he's Wemby level. With all the disrespect, Flagg right now is overrated. Cooper great, but he's not some freak of nature we've never seen before. Bruce, I actually disagree. I think he's actually really good. I think he's really good, and the reason why is he has good size. His goal is to get to the rim, right? There's a couple things that I think are going for him. His goal is to get to the rim. He's gonna have players that'll take a little bit of pressure off of him. Klay Thompson is gonna open the lane up. He has Anthony Davis there with him. And then I think the fact that Jason Kidd is the coach who's going to let him shoot more mid-ranges and let him play basketball a little bit more than maybe if he were somewhere else. I think all of those things would help. Overrated does not need players. It means that he is not as great as people want him to be. Well, I think he's going to be really good. I mean, no one's great yet. Very few people are that. I think he does have a chance of being one of the top players in the league. Whether it happens or not, we'll see. Would you want Bron trade to Dallas? No. I mean, if you're any team, let's be honest. If you are any team, why would you want to take on LeBron James's $50 million contract with a 40-year-old LeBron James? We're not talking about 35-year-old LeBron, 36, 33. Like, we're not talking about that LeBron. We're talking about 40-year-old LeBron. And despite the media last season trying to push this, oh, he's not really old, because, you know, he's a freak of nature, right? Him jumping low is still higher than most people, but compared to himself, he's definitely not the same athlete, and it definitely showed last season on multiple occasions. You know, guys are looking for him now to defend him, to go at him, like they're looking for him now. It looks totally different out there on the floor as opposed to what it looked like years ago. So if you are any team, I wouldn't want to take that on, because realistically, LeBron is going to need the basketball, right? If you're not Luka Doncic, if your name is not Luka Doncic, you don't get to have the ball more than me. Right? Like that's there's very few names you could pick out of a hat where I think LeBron James would comfortably concede the basketball. And I don't think anyone on the Dallas Mavericks has that. Both of those guys, Anthony Edwards and Kyrie Irving, had to fall in line to him, and I don't think this would be any different. It can get a contender over the hump. Like, imagine LeBron for DeAndre Hunter and salary filler in Cleveland. They'll be in the finals. But, I mean, how are you going to clear up 50 mil, though? You would have to give up some guys. And if you're the Lakers in an actual trade, like, I think the Lakers ultimately don't care because I believe that the Lakers think they are bigger than the players because their history is longer, right? The most historic franchise in the NBA. So I think they don't care about trading LeBron, but they don't want it to look crazy. So they're going to want something in return, and that means a player that could be in a team's future, and whether a team is willing to give that up plus other players just to make the numbers work, I don't know if they're going to do that. I don't know if they're going to do that. LeBron is just upset that the Lakers are not going to give him the money that he wants to get that Las Vegas team. He just wants to play longer to make that money. I mean, that's possible. Whatever his goal is, he picked up that deal for a reason, man. He wasn't gonna leave that $50 million on the table for sure. D'Lo will make you tear your hair out, but at least it's not a big contract. Hey, man. If somehow, some way, and I get this is very unlikely, but if somehow, some way, the Dallas Mavericks magically get Brooklyn Nets D'Angelo Russell on their team, if they somehow get D'Angelo Russell from the Brooklyn Nets, if they can teleport that guy onto the Dallas Mavericks, oh man, we might have something. We might really have something for real. And then you have, you know, D'Lo's one of those guys, you got to live with some of the mistakes, right? He's one of those types of players, right? You got to live with some of the good and the bad, right? You have guys on the team that could try to limit some of that with the Anthony Davis. Cooper Flagg, I think, could take the ball out of his hand and be the playmaker. Kyrie, obviously, when he gets back, you know, so there's guys that could take the ball out of D'Angelo Russell's hand in a positive way. But if he could cook like he was cooking in Brooklyn, oof. Excuse me. AT&T just needs to call D'Lo for that commercial. He's just gonna be on his phone on the bench. His 3-ball left him last year. If he can't shoot threes, then he'll be unplayable. So better hope it returns. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, that's kind of what I was saying about Cooper Flagg also. These guys are streaky 3-point shooters, right? I think D'Angelo Russell, he needs some of those dumb shots. He needs some of those bad shots just to get himself into a rhythm, right? You know, everyone can't be Kevin Durant, right? Everyone isn't good enough to where you could tell Kevin Durant, hey, Kevin, hey, listen, bro, you're going to get 14 shots tonight. Like 14 in total, right? You figure out a way to get to 30. And Kevin will go 10 of 14 and somehow end up with 29 points. Players can't do that. 99% of players can't do that. And I think that, D'Angelo Russell has kind of spoken about it very quietly, playing with LeBron, because the type of player that he is, he needs to get into his rhythm. He needs to get into the flow of the game. And then, you get ice in my veins. That comes from someone who's been able to play throughout the whole game, get rhythm, makes the reads, and by the end of the game, he's adjusting and reacting. That's how that works. If you take away his ability to have some of the freedom through the first 3 quarters, you don't get ice in my veins, D'Lo. That's just how it works. If Coop ain't hitting threes, he can still provide a lot of defense, boards, etc. If D'Lo ain't hitting threes, he's just a cone. No, absolutely. You're absolutely right. Yeah, right. You're absolutely right. And to your point, Tulip plays. That's the difference, right? That's why Cooper Flagg will continuously have the freedom to shoot 20 plus shots a game, as opposed to D'Angelo Russell, who, if he stayed in those situations, maybe he would have been able to do that. But once he started getting moved around and roles start changing, and you can't play defense to the point where you earn your 15 to 20 shots, it gets rough out there. It gets rough out there. But that's the thing about streaky guys, streaky shooters in particular. They could look really bad in certain situations because sometimes they just need the space. By the way, I just got on here and I'm number one again. I still don't know how it works, but hey, it's working for you, bro. I still don't know how it works. Speaking of, let me find this clip actually. Speaking of scorers, would you rather start Gafford or Lively? That's so tough. That's so tough because I think Gafford in the short roll is a little bit better. I think Gafford has a better ability to gather his feet and try to get a good shot off or get a good pass. But I think Derek Lively is a more active defender, can switch out on pick and rolls easier. It's a good problem to have, but it really is one of those things that depends on the matchup. Because if you have Gafford and he's just sitting there in drop coverage to start the game, that could really put you in trouble. Give me give me Lively to start the game. Give me the young gun to start the game. Give me Lively to start the game, because if you're thinking about throwing Gafford into the second unit, right? Some of those post moves, and I'm not, Daniel Gafford isn't Hakeem Olajuwon, but his post moves will work better against a second unit player on more nights than not. And could help out that second unit guard better than maybe the starter. Lively is more athletic and more better. He's more fragile, though. I'm starting Lively. Hey, man, we're on the same thinking. I think it's close, though. It's a good problem to have. I think it's close. It really depends, like I said, on what you're looking for. If you need someone to be physical, then, you start Gafford. But who are the most underrated perimeter defenders in the league? Who was an underrated defender? Because everyone this year spoke about the Thompson twins. I don't think. You think Dort is underrated? Did he make all defense this year? I'm trying to think. Who's a underrated? Who's a underrated defender? Well, let me look at all defense last year. Scotty Barnes, Chris Dunn's defense was pretty good. He was fighting for his life. He was fighting for his life against Jokic in that. It was in the first round. He was fighting for his life. He really was, man. Most underrated. Nobody ever talks about. He's literally defensive player of the year level. Trey Murphy can defend. The Dortcher Chambers known for his defense. So I wouldn't say. Yeah, he also made all defensive first team this year. So I mean, I'll give a cop out. I'll give a cop out. Because he doesn't get the awards. But Drew Holiday really is elite on defense. It's not just lockdown one-on-one. He's in help. He's filling lanes. Like Drew Holiday does a lot on defense. Derek White and Tyrese Maxey are good to me. Tyrese Maxey? I'm trying to think. I don't know why when you said Tyrese Maxey, I thought of wow, Darius Garland is a cone on defense. Bruce Merrill, Herb is a better defender. Nah, super underrated too as a defender. Who's Nah? Coaches named a closeout after Bruce Holiday. He's goated, not underrated at all. No, I get that people talk about him, but this guy is like he don't even like he's never won the award. Like he don't get. I feel like he should be a lock-in for this shit, but you know the numbers don't necessarily back it up because teams go away from him. He definitely is goated. Nikhil Alexander Walker's pretty good. What's his name on Minnesota's pretty good also. Shit, I'm blanking. But there's some pretty good defenders in the league, man. There's some pretty good defenders in the league. OG. Honestly, I'll give OG and Mikal this. Those guys in stretches were. I'm not saying every because they've obviously been fried. Also, Jaden McDaniels, yes, there you go. Jaden McDaniels is good. OG and Mikal Bridges in stretches were absolute lockdowns on defense. He was better defender in Toronto, to be honest. I mean, you would answer this better than me, Black Canadian, but he had more offensive responsibilities than I felt like, especially as the year progressed. For OG this year, he had to deal with a little bit more of an offensive responsibility as the season went on. So, no, he's had some really good stretches, man. Like he's had some really big stops and stretches. He had some really, really big stops this year. Let me try to find this clip. What y'all think of this, man? Let's see if it's in right here.
I was pretty equipped. When I think about it, I'm just saying, like,
Could you pull up from the elbow?
I need to be in this conversation.
Could you pull up from the elbow?
I got
Could you
all
knock
that.
down the three?
All that.
Could you back him down?
3-point contest champ.
Could you turn around?
All of that. Post ups.
Could you dunk?
All of that. I was shooting. I must have been one of the most equipped. Look, here we go. Boom. Who's this? I'm to the rack.
Okay.
3 people.
Finally got to show a Laker highlight, but I get it.
Yeah, look. Oh, let me see. Go over your head.
Oh, that's pretty. Yeah, that's
this
pretty.
This is equipped.
They don't even have
you want game winners?
They just
Wop,
talking.
wop, wop. Here we go. Like, I'm trying to figure out
What was your efficiency?
Yeah, like, I think, when he talking about his efficiency, because I shot more bad shots than Kevin.
Yeah, you was just hot dogging. You wasn't as clean.
No, I shot
Admitting I shot more bad shots than Kevin is funny.
more bad shots, but Kevin, because he's 7 feet, he can get his shot off on anybody. He don't really see defense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why he's so efficient. There's nobody at his height on the perimeter. He changed the way we look at perimeter. He pretty much changed the game on the perimeter. Like being a 7'2" guard, you know what I'm saying? That's like, come on, the biggest 2 guard when I came in was like 6'5", 6'6".
Dirk was what, a 3?
Dirk was a 4, man.
Was he a 4?
Yeah, he's 7. He playing.
Wait, so what do you guys... What does it say? So, what do you guys think? Is he bugging or nah? You guys think Paul Pierce is bugging here or nah? Man, the self-glazing is wild. Paul Pierce is underrated, to be honest. It's his mouth that derails him. KD definitely the most equipped scorer ever. I will say, and I think some older players really feel the need to defend themselves because like, times pass, right? Times pass, and I think some of these guys cannot let it go. But he really was, at that time, he could really score on every level of the game. Like I people are thinking of Kevin Durant in this combo, but just Paul Pierce himself. He could shoot the 3, he could post up, finish at the rim, get to the line. Like he had he was one of the original step back guys, right? He had a nasty spin. He could come off of pin downs and picks. Like he had everything in terms of a scorer, in terms of being able to score in different ways. If you put someone smaller on him, he'll post him up. If you put someone bigger on him, he'll try to get around them. Like he had an answer for pretty much everything, right? For pretty much everything. So can he throw his name in there? I mean, he didn't say he is, but why? I mean, I don't see why not. I don't see why not. Paul Pierce is nice. He just hated because he don't stop speaking. No, that's facts. He really don't. There have been many Paul Pierces. There's only one KD. People forget Dirk and KG subbing in for each other at the 3 in the All-Star game during 2000 because they were all 2 stacked with the Tim, Shaq, and KG. I mean, I'm sure there were times that Dirk played the 3 and had 3s guarding him for sure. That was the scariest All-Star teams ever. No, that's facts. Imagine Kevin Garnett as your 3-man. It'd be curtains. But yeah, I really do think if you really think about it, especially like guys that could score on every level, right? Like every level. Like James Harden is an unbelievable scorer, 36 points per game. He don't have, because of the way his game had to develop on these teams, he don't have like a midi game that's super developed. I could argue the floater and his foul baitings, but that's not a real midi game, right? It kind of goes in place of it because he doesn't have a midi game. But, every level Paul Pierce could score. At the end of the day, Pierce got a Finals MVP. Are literally little Paul Pierces, but many that we thought were in the trajectory. Spec Paul is a hooper. Rashid to me is great. My issue with him, he did not take basketball seriously. Rasheed Wallace would destroy today's NBA. That's facts, Bruce. I loved and hated Sheed for that reason. Same with Lamar Odom. Yeah, Shea right now can score on every level also. Oh no, that's facts. Rasheed would be eating in this NBA. He could shoot the three. He would go crazy. Who else is a super elite multi-level scorer in the league right now? Actually, Kevin Durant, and I'll take a look at this. There might be one flaw to Kevin's game. Let's take a look at this. I want to take a look real quick. Now, it's really more so the last couple years. Prime Kevin Durant was getting to the free throw line. Prime Kevin Durant. I was gonna say, free throws might be the one thing lacking in Kevin Durant's game, but that's more so recency bias for me. In just the way that I view things, because recently his free throw averages have been almost half of what he's averaged before. He's averaged 10.2 before. He was at 9 for a couple years, so that's definitely something that shifted, but definitely in his prime was getting to the free throw line, which is a big part of having a multi-layer score. Clay is an elite scorer right now off the court. He always been an elite scorer. He quiet with it too. Always been elite. Knockdown. Shooter. The real Splash Brother. Klay Thompson, the real Splash Brother. We revoke you, Steph Curry. Yo, is Klay Thompson the real Splash Brother, man? Oh, he's the real Splash Brother. But Paul Pierce, man, Paul Pierce, he's nice. That dude's nice, dog. He's nice. What is this? I wanted to actually talk about this one thing as well too, because I saw this morning and I was mind blown. Let's see. Let me just put it on its own. I woke up today to this list for Bleacher Report's top 100 NBA players ever. So I'm just going through it, right? Speaking of Klay, 98. Tatum, 93. Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. Wait. So Klay is 98. 4-time champ, 2-time All-NBA, 5-time All-Star, 1-time All-Defense. So that means 2 seasons he was the top 2 or 3 at his position, and averaged 19.1 for his career, 45% from the field, 41.1% from 3 over 12 seasons. What in this trumps anything that Klay Thompson has done? See, we gotta be blasted, bro, for some of these, because nine-time All-Star to me does not outweigh 5 All-Stars, 2 All-NBAs, and 2 All-Defensive teams. Plus, I scored more than you, and I shot a better percentage than you, and I'm a champion. Like, so clearly, and we've spoken about this before, titles don't really mean as much as they say they do, right? Chauncey Billups, 17 seasons. It's impressive. One-time champion. That finals MVP definitely weighs a lot. All NBA, 2-time all defense, 5-time all-star. See, like, I could understand this more, right? Because he's also a champion to obviously Klay's one, but he has a finals MVP to Klay Thompson, right? 3-time all NBA, 2-time all defense, same amount of all-stars as Klay. Like, this makes more sense to me. It says in the comments they boosted Lenny because of his coaching career. Then they gotta name this list something else. Then this list gotta be named something else. Then that means Steve Kerr gotta be on this motherfucker. This is the part that Draymond above Klay Thompson. What do you guys think of this one? I saw this too. Oh, what the fuck? Wait, what the hell? What the helly? 98. Klay is 98. And where was Dre? 80 something? 88 Draymond. 4-time champion, 1-time defensive player of the year, 2 times all NBA, 4-time all-star, 9-time all defense, 1-time steal champ. I feel like if you're going to have Draymond Green ahead of Klay Thompson, they have to be next to each other. Is that blasted? But 10 spots ahead? You think he's 10 spots ahead of Klay Thompson in basketball? Yeah, but at what point? I listen. I understand. I've only been talking about accolades at this point, but do we not account like ability to play? Like we don't take into account that it's obviously he has the rebounds and the assists, but 8.7 to 19 and opened everything up. Like he's why he has the assists. Does that not count? I just feel like 10 spots is OD. 10 spots is OD. I'm not mad at having him ahead, but 10 spots is OD. Draymond would not be a Hall of Famer if he was not a Warrior playing with Curry. Klay wouldn't either. I think Klay would have a much better chance of ending up on this list than Draymond did without Curry. Both of them without, like, if they were all on their own, I think Steph could make it on this list by himself. I think Klay potentially, with the way he's been able to shoot the ball, could. I don't know if Draymond can. Yeah, but Klay was always able to shoot. Maybe he don't make top 75 all time, but he would have definitely been ranked higher than Draymond Green. Zoe ahead of Draymond, Tony Parker, okay. Sam Jones. Jimmy Butler. If Klay puts up these stats for any other franchise, he's remembered the way we remember Monte Ellis. And what happens if Draymond puts up those stats in any other franchise? He doesn't probably win the Defensive Player of the Year. Like, let's be honest. Like, he was great on defense, but he really got highlighted because of that team also. Like, it put a spotlight on his defense. Do you think he wins those Defensive Player of the Year, all defensive teams the way that he did, I don't know if he does. Is Jimmy Butler better than Tatum? What do you guys think of this? I really want to know what their criteria is. Tony Parker. Is Butler better than Tatum? I like 8 seasons. Like I don't know if body of work too. You think his body of work? Body of work. I think that's close. I think if you take the full body of work, not just Jimmy Butler's peak, because Jimmy Butler's peak is that run was, goddamn, his run was crazy. I think Tatum better. This list is fraudulent. Name a 3 and D that's better. No, this list is OD. Tatum might have a better career now. Tatum got his ring finally. I mean, outside, I mean, I guess, okay. Bro, they... Okay. This is a real question. Do you weigh Jimmy Butler's all defensive stats compared to Jayson Tatum's 20 plus, or and what are Tatum's stats? He averages more rebounds, less assists. Don't even take the championship. 5-time All NBA, 6-time All Star in 8 seasons. That's really close. How is Bob Lanier so high? Bro, listen, I don't know, man. 10-time champion. Look, 10-time champion only gets him to 85. Adrian Dantley was like that. All right, let's keep going. Bob Lanier. 8-time All-Star, that's it. Double-double for his career. Like, how do they do these lists, man? How do they create this? 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, 3-time All-NBA. Grant Hill, 79. See, he shouldn't be over Jimmy. I'm sorry. I like Grant Hill should not be over Jimmy Butler. We've seen Jimmy Butler lead teams year in and year out. Grant Hill, because of injury, wasn't able to. He's not over Jimmy. I'm sorry. Like this is wrong. This is 79. Yo, we are blasted, man. We are blasted. Six-time All-NBA, 9-time All-Star, 4-time All-Defense. Like, Jimmy Butler didn't have the hottest start to his career either, so I think Jimmy's over Grant Hill. I think Jimmy should be around the Paul George. I think Jimmy and Paul George should be close. I can tell this list was based on projections as well. I think they were just picking names out of a hat, dog. Pistol Pete is 77. People don't even move like Pistol Pete does. And had an outstanding rookie season before getting hurt. Now I'm waiting to see how high they put Derrick Rose, LMAO. Grant is behind Clay. He is for sure behind Clay. Alex English. Manu. Do we gotta have like a Manu Ginobili convo? I know I'll probably get hated on for this, man. Like, I'll probably get hated on for this. Manu Ginobili, I mean, everyone talks about him with a lot of respect that he should have been a starter, this, that, and the third. But unfortunately, the way his career worked out, he wasn't. And when you compare his numbers and accolades, granted, to be a sixth man and an all-NBA player is impressive, but when you look in totality, him as in his individual career, it just doesn't stack up compared to these other guys. I'm just being completely honest. To be 75 on this team, on this list, like, you didn't even start. Bruce Bowen, Shane Battier, Danny Green, Trevor Ariza, Raja Bell. None of them shot the three at the clip Clay did. And I think Clay's defense was close. The gap between the defense wasn't as bad as the gap between the shooting ability. Butler led a team Dikembe never did. We overrate Clay as a 3 and D because of his shooting. I don't know, man. He was making James Harden work for that shit. I remember he was making James work, and James was on demon time. I don't know. Was that gap bigger than his ability to shoot compared to those guys? Because they can't touch him. I'm talking about a career. I mean, no disrespect to those guys outside of Danny Green and Shane, maybe. But all those guys had to do was play defense. Those guys didn't nearly have the same responsibility on offense also. At least none of them did. Clay wasn't able to be who he was long enough. I mean, outside of Shane Battier, how long? I mean, I guess those guys had... I don't know, man. I don't know. We talking about a defensive stretch for 3 years max. But those guys are also like... You're talking about role players versus a second option, third option player too. Chris Bosh is 71. Chris Bosh. Kyrie is 69. 3-time All-NBA. If Clay was able to be remembered as that dude for his career, it would be way different. No, I agree with you that those guys. Let me see. Bruce Bowen. I don't know. Everything I hear about Bruce Bowen is he just wanted to hurt you. But Trevor Ariza was a better defender. Shane Battier was a better defender. I'm trying to think of who else did you say? I think Raja Bell was also a really good defender. But I don't think that gap between, I mean, maybe Shane and Trevor are far better than Klay Thompson on defense, but they can't shoot even close to Klay Thompson. Danny Green with Steph means no chips. They lose a lot of series with Danny. Kyrie should be a little higher. I don't know, man. I hear a lot of old guys saying all Bruce did was hurt people. Danny Green was good, but I don't know if he was better than Klay. I don't know. He was good though. Robert Parrish. I wanted to get to because there was something I saw on the bottom that I thought was absurd. Joel Embiid. I don't know about this one, man. Only allowed to shoot 2 threes a game due to error, so we genuinely don't know for some of them. "2014 Danny Green is as good as Klay in my opinion." There was a 20 from Mark Jackson called them the greatest shooter, called Klay Thompson the greatest shooter in 2013. Right? And he was already a 3-and-D guy 2012-2013 season. Up until what, 2020? That's a 7-year span of him being an elite shooter and also regarded as a really great defender. That's a 7-year span. If Embiid is there, I am done. Kyrie has the deepest bag ever as a champion, the best in 2 different attributes ever. I think I mean, I'll be honest with you. Kyrie deserves to be on the list for sure. Where, I don't know. Because if you do the eye test, he would be really high on this list. But when you put the actual, if you put actual, if you put his body of work stats up, I don't know if it's on par. I think he was highly overrated during those 7 years. I mean, he was guarding the best defender every night. And they were winning those games. I mean, he couldn't have been doing a terrible job. Vince Carter is 65. Vince Carter is not better than Kyrie. A couple of years he was great, but we overrate him for moments. You don't have to be, but it helps. He's great. Ever handle a layup to a champion. What more do you want? Wait, hold on. How is Vince Carter 65, bro? Wait, what the hell? Why does he keep doing that? How is he 65? Damian Lillard 64? Worthy 63. Pau Gasol. I think we're pulling names out of hats, bro. Draymond made everyone's jobs incredibly easier. No, he did, but he was sticking guys that were isolating him also. I get what you're saying, but he also made that work. Like the same way Draymond couldn't defend anybody until Jimmy Butler got in here. It don't mean Draymond was trash on defense. He also made Draymond's life easier the same way. I think it worked both ways, but wait, hold on. Tracy McGrady. I love T-Mac. I love T-Mac. I mean, I guess. This is tough to me. Carmelo this high? I mean, did you see some of the other players? This list is trash. Did you see some of the other guys they had on here? Luka is 57th. How the fuck is Luka not top 10 already? Brother, Luka's already better than Reggie. Yo! I love Reggie Miller. I love Reggie Miller. But there is no way he's above Melo. I'm sorry, I'd rather have Ginobili than Vince Carmelo. You could rather have them. The body of work still matters. Like you're comparing guys that accumulated over 20,000 points, 25,000 points compared to guys that got 10,000 points. White. Excuse me. Ray Allen. Paul Pierce, 49. The truth is nice, man. Russell West. It's an MVP right here, man. 3-time assist champ, 2-time scoring champ. Yo. Three assists, 3 rebounds, nasty work at 6'7". I mean, he definitely wasn't about to get rebounds. He only stayed on the perimeter. AD. Walt Frazier, George Gervin, Rick Barry, Patrick Ewing, Pat Yoop. Let's go Knicks. Allen Iverson is 36th overall. My God, 26.7 points per game for his career. Holy shit. Steve Nash. Steve Nash over Allen Iverson. Oh no. That's close. James Harden. Jason Kidd. Okay. Kawhi Leonard. This list makes absolutely no sense, man. Chris Paul is ranked 30th. Chips don't matter in any list. That's why Nash did the podcast. John Stockton, my God. This is close. I don't know if I have him over Chris Paul. I'm not even going to lie to you. Pippen is finally ahead of these guys. On the ESPN list, he's behind Allen Iverson and John Stockton. He's ahead of them in this one. Zeke, Isaiah Thomas, Swirls Barkley. Swarley, if you guys have ever seen How I Met Your Mother, Swirls Barkley is a classic. Giannis is above Charles already. 2-time MVP. Dwayne Wade. Something about this feels off. I don't know, just something about it just feels off. 23. This is the no chip. Yep. You get your salsa with no. You get the dip with no chip. Karl Malone. What? Okay. Moses Malone. Copy. Julius Erving. 24.2 is crazy. In a shortened career. Because he was in the ABA at first. David Robinson. Damn, they put Dirk above everybody. Holy shit. Jokic is already 17th on this list. KG is above all of them. Hey, man, I love KG. KG is one of my favorite fours ever. Glad Wade got his respect on this list. He definitely did. The Big O is 14th. I think he's like 6th or 7th. Oh, bruh. I think he's 6th or 7th in the ESPN one. See. KD gets 13th. Hakeem is 12th. Kobe's not in the top 10. He's not even 10th. They put him 11th. 11th. They put this guy 11th. I can't take this seriously. I can't take this seriously. I hear you guys on the Dirk one, because I was like, whoa, they put him high. I hear you guys. Who is he above? He's above David Robinson. I don't think he's better than David Robinson. I don't think he's above him. Moses Malone for sure. Yeah, I saw this because I skimmed through the list earlier. Yeah, like, this is not real. This is not real life. Kobe is, to me, he's third. To me, Kobe is third. That's me. Me. He is third. In playing basketball. Fuck everything else. In playing the game of basketball. They're just... They put Steph Curry 10th. Great player. One of the greatest. One of the most impactful. He is not better than Kobe Bryant. It's just like what are they doing over there? I need to find out what they're doing over there, bro. We need to find out. Wilt 9th, which Larry is 8th. All of a sudden, champions mean something. Championships mean something. Are we blasted? This guy averaged 30 and 22. I love Larry Bird, dog. I think he gets jumped over. People skip him in the small forwards list all the time. But above Wilt is crazy. No, don't take away nothing from Steph. Kobe, it should not be anywhere near there. Tim Duncan, 7. Again, 30 and 22. Are we good? Nah, bro. Shaq is 6. Shaq is not better than Kobe Bryant. I think you can argue Tim over Shaq, although I think dominance matters, like in the eye test for Shaq. Larry Bird always reminds me that racism exists. No, that motherfucker was cold. He should be nowhere near these dudes. No, that motherfucker was cold. 24 and 10. 24 and 10. Don't get it twisted. All NBA players, 24 and 10. Wilt was playing white guys a lot. I don't give a fuck. Nobody else in that time was getting 30 and 22 either. I don't give a fuck. It counts. There is no way I got Bill Russell above these guys. Wilt's stats never led to winning. It was a 2-team title race every year, and he always lost. Listen, that's fine. 30 and 22 is still 30 and 22. Magic Johnson is 4th. Kareem is 3rd. LeBron is 2nd. And Michael Jordan is 1st. Can we just throw this whole fucking list away, bro? Well, like, who we need to find out who made this list. We need to find out who made this list. We need to find out where they live. we need some answers. We need some answers, because what the fuck is this list, man? I get the, listen, I have my reasons for my rankings. This makes absolutely no sense. Zero sense at all. But I'm glad y'all got to see that with me, that bullshit with me. I'm glad y'all got to check that out. But, hey, man, top 4 is correct. I don't have Magic 4th. I don't have him 4th. That my list wouldn't look like that. Sorry. My list just would not look like that. My top 3 is Mike, Bron, Kobe. I think being called the most dominant ever, not having to do with, lists or numbers or stats, I think there's value in that. I think I would put Shaq 4th. I think that's also just like my fucking brain, because I fuck with Shaq. But I wouldn't be mad if you put Kareem. I think Shaq and Kareem are pretty interchangeable. But Mike, Bron, Kobe, Shaq, Kareem, Wilt, Tim, Bird, something like that. LeBron is not in my top 5. See, that's blasted. MJ, Kareem, Kobe, Duncan, 2000 Shaq was unstoppable. Shaq owns the 6th spot. Yeah, I mean, you could put, I think Shaq is the weird one where you can put Shaq anywhere from like 4 to 10 and it would make sense, or 5 to 10 and you could argue it. He's one of those weird ones. I mean, I guess I think you could argue Tim Duncan is the same way. All of those guys are the same way. My 3 does not change though. It's, for me, it's Mike, Bron, and Kobe. favorite player ever to watch, because I watched them in real time, was T-Mac. And then that transferred to Melo and Kobe, right? Like those are that's my trifecta in terms of the people that I watched growing up. But yeah, that's my three. I don't think anyone could ever top MJ, if I'm being honest. But Shaq being the most dominant definitely has value to me that doesn't show up on any ranking or stats. I value that high because teams literally had to change for him in the 2000s. It wasn't 1960 either. It was in the 2000s they had to do that. But yeah, man, that's the list for today. But oh my God, we've been yapping for a minute. I got MJ, Bron, Kareem, Magic, Shaq, Bird, Duncan, Kobe, Steph, Wilt. There's no way Wilt is that low. And Bird was not better than Kobe. Damn, you got Kobe that low? You think Magic, Shaq, Bird were better than Kobe? Again, I think the hardest part with this conversation is everyone has a different criteria. Right? I think that's what it really is at the end of the day. We all value different things. Now, if we all somehow got on the same page with the criteria, like how much do we value the body of work, right? The not just the accolades, but the statistics over your period of time. How much do we value you being the best player for X amount of years? How much do we value your ability to actually play the game, right? How much do we value these things, and then the championships and stuff like that? It's just also Shaq's career spanned the slowest era of pace ever. Pace literally 35 and 15. Kobe won 2 chips as Batman and was inefficient, but he's definitely top 10. I've just never, just watching basketball, what Kobe Bryant did, at least for me, like every time, like kicking Shaq out and like, I'm gonna show you, that meant something to me. And then him going out there going crazy, building his team back up to win. Yeah, it was inefficient. That's just his play. But I don't know. There's value to that for me, man. My top 10 is MJ, Kareem, Kobe, Bron, Duncan, Magic, Wilt, Bird, Shaq, Steph. Yeah, I think Steph can creep into the top 10. Honestly, you could argue against Steph being in the top 10 also. I think you could argue, right? You could argue. I think you got to have like Steph and then KD would be how I would do it, kind of thing. But I like everybody's list, man. I like everybody's list. But all right. Let me see before I get out of here. Let's see if there's any breaking news. Let's see if there's any breaking news. Nope. Nope. So what we're gonna do is everyone has the same top 10, just different orders, really. For the most part, yeah. For the most part, I think so. For the most part, and then that's when it comes down to preference and the style of player that we all like. But that's gonna do it for me for now. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me for 2 fucking hours today, man. This was so much fun. We talked about a lot today. Before I get out of here, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. All that good stuff. It really helps the channel out. But you guys are the absolute best, man. We'll do this again on Wednesday. I will be live at the same time, around 12 Eastern, 11 a.m. Central. So we'll run it back on Wednesday. We'll try this early show, the early show again on Wednesday. But thank you guys so much, man. I really appreciate it. Y'all could have been anywhere on the internet, but y'all were here with me, and I appreciate you for that. So thank you so much, man. I'll see y'all on Wednesday. Nope, LeBron is not top 5. I'm still number 1. I'm weak. Why not? Other than that, you don't like him. It's just, listen, Tulip Plays. You'll find out soon. Coming to hanging out with us. I'm not a LeBron fan at all. But I just think him at number 2 is undeniable, if I'm being completely honest. And I'll let you know next time Tulip Plays. See, that's a good one. You're good, Bruce. I appreciate you. Thank you, Bruce, for hanging out. Thank you, Tulip Plays, for coming and hanging out with us. I hope you had fun. Thank you, Black Canadian. Thank you, Elijah, earlier for stopping in before your flight. You guys are the best, man. Thank you, Derpy, for coming in here. We talked about Superman earlier. But thank you guys so much. I'll see y'all on Wednesday. Y'all have a great rest of y'all day. Have a good one, man. Peace.